All right. So what I'm going to be doing is creating a simple character here in Castles and Crusades. I know a lot of people here are new to the game and just kind of want to get an overview of how it works and everything. Um, Feel free to hit me up on the chat while I'm doing this. This shouldn't take very long. I mean, well, depending on how long it'll take, I'm not sure. But I usually roll my dice here, but I want y'all to see what I'm doing on computer, so I'll be using a virtual dice roller courtesy of Google. I'll bring that on screen right now. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and clear this. So first things first, I roll 6 times. The first time it's going to be, I roll D4, correction, 4D6, drop the lowest. That's going to be 16. We can make that a little bigger. It doesn't, okay, 16. And like I said, I'm monitoring the chat, so if you want to throw some questions or if you want a special character or something, let me know. I'll go and throw it on there. So the first one's 16, you drop 3. The next one's going to be 21. That's a really good roll. Drop the 4. That's the lowest. So that's going to be a 17. Let's roll again. We got ourselves a 15. Drop the lowest. That's going to be a 12. This is a good character so far. All right, we got us a 17. Drop the lowest. That's 13. Let's see, it's 4. Roll one more time. We got a 22. Good rolls today. 666. That's 18. All right, it's gonna be. Oh, we got a fighter here. 5. And let's drop one more. And we got a 9. That's not bad. All right, so usually what I'll do, I usually roll an extra one, but I'm not gonna do it this time just for time's sake, whatever. Just because most people don't roll. What would that be? 46 times 7, then drop the lowest from there. But I usually do it when I run my games, but I'm not gonna worry about it this time. Let's go and close out, get that way. So that's where we are. Let's see, there's a way to put this. It's always on top. Nope, there's not. So I'll go ahead and bring it over to the screen. Get out of your way here. All right. So while I am doing this, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go ahead and make this guy a. I've got the player's handbook loaded up here, so I'm gonna pull it up. All right, class. I'm gonna go with the fighter, page 30. Oh, there it goes. So let me get rid of this. Page 30. All right, the prime attribute is going to be strength. So we're going to go back to the original and mark that as strength. And let's see, strength class is fighter. So we're going to put fighter up there. All right, so the race, I think for demonstration's sake, I'm going to go ahead and make this guy a human or girl or whatever we're going to decide. I haven't decided yet. Usually what I do is roll a d6. And all right, so alignment. I'm on the same battlefield that alignment doesn't really matter, but I'll probably put something in there. Just give me a second. It's a first level character. There's no experience points, so we're gonna put a 0 right there. All right, experience for next level. So we're gonna go over here to the table. It's just 2001, so we're gonna put 2001 for next level. All right, so HP, AC always starts at 10, so we're gonna start with 10 right there. The hit points, it's gonna be hit die is HD 10. And like I said, I might not be doing this correct. Hi, Abby, how come you're making a character? Well, I am getting ready to run a game. Saturday at Half Price Books, and just need to have a couple characters ready, a couple pre-gens. And I figured this would be a good time to do. I don't think I've ever yet to see a YouTube video or a Twitch stream or anything showing how to make a character. And for a lot of people that never played RPGs before, I figured this might be a good tutorial, somewhat. So, all right. So, according to this, the human's hit die is D10. So usually what you're supposed to do is roll a D10, and then whatever you get, that's what your hit points is. But I'm pretty nice. I like to max out my hit points, so I'm going to set that as a 10. And like I said, this is going to change as we go, so it's fine. And since this is a human, it's going to have, we get, usually with Castle of Crusades, you have what's called primary and secondary attributes. So you roll on your primes, you use a base of 12, and you roll a secondary, you roll a base of 18, correct? Yeah, 12 and 18. I believe that's correct. I might be wrong. I'll double check that. But in the meantime, cool. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I'm kind of going with one right now. Just, I figured why not? And it's probably not the best one, but it'll probably be the first one I've seen, so that works. And since this is a fighter, I'm going to go ahead and bring this sheet back over. So I got 16, 17, 7, 12, 13, 18, and 9. Obviously, I'm going to make strength the highest number. So I'll make that. And I'll show you how the mods work in a second here. I'm going to go ahead and make a, let's see, I got, because it is a human, you get to have 3 prime attributes. Usually you get 2, but for demi-humans, but as a human character, you get that 3, you get that little extra bonus because you don't get to have any, when you pick like another demi-human, you have like, you get to add to your attributes or you get to subtract from, or there's like benefits like dark vision or whatever, but most humans don't have any kind of anything like that. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm gonna, since this is a fighter, I think my 2 extra attributes I want to go, well, my extra attribute and the plus I'm gonna add is gonna be probably dexterity. I want him to be fast and agile, and I believe constitution will be also be important. So we'll go with that. Let me see what my numbers are. So I've already used 18, so I'll mark that one. Put 17 for dexterity. Not better yet. Let's see. I'm gonna go with 16 for dexterity. You'll see why in a minute. I will put 17 for charisma, for constitution, correct, I'm sorry. And like I said, this isn't the only way to do this. I might be making mistakes along the way. I'm just going as I'm just doing this the best I can because it's how I play. And like I said, that's the beauty of Castles and Crusades. You get to make it your game. Nobody plays it the same. I think most RPGs are like that, but I think Castles and Crusades makes it that the point of the game is that it's not so bogged down with rules that you get to change things, add, subtract what you don't want. You can take what you don't want, you can add what you want, and it won't break the game. It just makes it fun. That way you get to have the game that you want. It's your game. So let's see, I done used 16, 12, 13. I got 12, 13, and 9 left. Um, put 12 as charisma, 13 intelligence, and I'll put 9 as wisdom. He doesn't have to be as strong. He doesn't have to be the smartest guy in the world, so we'll go with that. All right, so let me move back over here. All right, so now how do these mods work? This is the thing sometimes some newbies might get tripped up with, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pull up the Castle Keeper's Guide here. Let me see here. And there's the attribute file. This is also, just FYI, this is also listed in the player's handbook. I just like the Castle Keeper's Guide. I like using it. So we got here. So basically, whatever your attribute score is on this side, this is the modifier you add on there. So let's go back to the first one. So 18 is our strongest one. So let's go ahead, look up 18. You get a +3 on that. So we'll add +3 on the mod. I believe 17 is the same. Yep, 17 is +3 as well. So that's gonna come up pretty handy when it comes to fighting. The Constitution is 17, so that's gonna be. Oh wait, did I make? I did make a mistake, so that's going to be 16. I apologize. So that's going to be plus 2. We're going to change that back to 2. 17 is going to be plus 3 because we saw that earlier. I believe 13 is a plus 1. That's correct. So let's go ahead and add a plus 1 on there. 9 is no bonus. There's nothing wrong with that. So we'll keep that as 0. Well, I'll go and put a 0 on there just because. Charisma is a 12, so that's no bonus as well. So it's going to put a 0 there. That's how simple that is. And if you notice, I marked these as prime. These first 3 are going to be our prime. So the way the siege engine works, it's an attribute check system. And let me double check this because I don't want to give you incorrect information. So I'll pull up my handbook here. And I'll pull this back up. Combat, combat, combat. We're not doing combat, we're doing attribute checks. There we go. All right. All right. Where's the... And I don't have the thing open. Perfect. That works. Oh, too big. All right. This is one of the beauty. This is one of my favorite things about Crusades and Crusade. This is the one that sold it for me. Determine if an attribute check is necessary. It is important to know that only those activities which have significant chance of failure, as determined by the castle keeper, should be resolved by a dice roll. In most cases, narrative development and not chance should guide the game. Judicious use of the attribute check is essential to maintaining the fast flow of action at adventure. There are instances in which the attribute check is required. These include all class ability checks and saving throws, and those are the instances where the castle keeper deems a check necessary to resolve a conflict. What that means basically is you only do a check if there's a high chance of failure. So I believe when I heard this on the Crusader podcast, it's like if you're going to swim the river and you're not a, you don't have a strong character, you have maybe a wizard or whatever, you roll, and strength is not usually a prime for a wizard. So what happens is that you end up the challenge level is going to be 18, and let me make sure I get that for you here because I want to give you that great information. Determine if that check is necessary, of course, and then we'll go. All right. So the challenge base is always either 12 or an 18. The challenge base depends on whether or not the attribute being checked in is a character's prime attribute or secondary attribute. So, for example, if in my character that I'm creating here, strength is a prime attribute for that character. So, what I would do, according to this, is the challenge base would be 12 versus 18. And the way that works is the Castle Keeper would set the challenge level at, we'll say 2. So the level would be 2 plus 12 because it's a prime attribute. So then I would roll my d20, and in fact, let me get a d20 out here. Well, should I have one ready? I rolled a 17. I was able to swim across the river. See how easy that is? Now, if you're using a secondary attribute and it's not a prime, in that case, the challenge base would be 18. And that point, you would need to, and like I said before, the challenge level of the Castle Keeper assigned was 2. You would add 2 plus 18, that'd be 20. So you would have to roll a 20 or higher. So that would be 9 plus 3 for your strength, so that'd be 12. And I know I forgot to add the bonus on the other round, but you catch the drift. So it would be the you roll whatever you get. Say you roll a 6 and you add your or 16, you add your modifier. Your strength modifier is plus 3, so that'd be you rolled a 19. And obviously you still fail because that's not a prime attribute if that's what you've chosen. Okay. Hope that makes sense. And yeah, let's go back to what we were doing. So it is 12 and it is 18. And one of the things that I know I heard this on the Crusader podcast. I love those guys, by the way. Is if you want to make your game easier, you can drop it down to 9 and 15, or you can move it up. If you want to make it harder, you make it 15 and 21, I guess. You can play with these rules. You can change them. You can do as you like. So that's a good thing about that. So let's go back to our character sheet. Alignment, I'm gonna go with neutral good. You know why? Because I think we're all neutral in this world, and no, we're generally good people. All right, so we're gonna go back to the player's handbook. So, good page level. There we go. So I'm gonna go close this. All right, man. You take care. Well, I mean, I'll be posting this on the group, and I'll also be uploading it to YouTube as well when I'm done. So yeah, thanks for checking it out, man. So, all right. So we're creating a character. We chose a race. The 6 attributes. Now we're going to go with. You're going click on human. And what we do is we go up here. So humans are the most diverse of the races. So we get to have all these good stuff. And the human's probably the easiest one to start with because it doesn't have a lot of extra features or any racial abilities. And those, if you did it, those would usually go. You have what's called race abilities and class abilities. But because it's not, hum, hu- most humans don't have extra abilities or anything special. So those we don't use those. And there's none listed. And there's little some notes, some good things to keep in. If you're gonna create a character, I suggest reading. It's just like about a 3/4 of a page for the human, and for most of these others, it's the same. Like halflings about a page, and so on. So we'll go back to human. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, and all right, where are we at here? So zoom in on humans. This is what we're looking for. The humans speak common, so we'll go back to common. We'll go on plug that into our sheet here. And another piece of information we need, oh, there's Adventurer's backpack. Love that. So the movement is going to be 30 feet. So we'll put 30 in movement. Let's see what we add. Hit points, Constitution bonus. Okay. This is this is probably standard in most RPGs, but okay. So your like I said, the hit die was D10, and usually, like I said, you roll a D10, and then whatever you get, that's what your hit points are to start with. I like to max out because I just find it easier. It's better for new players. Now, if I was looking for a more gritty game, I'd probably go ahead and do just, roll for your D10 and whatever you get, that's what you're gonna end up with. So, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna get these out. For example, here's my D10. I'm gonna roll that. Got 9, but still, I'm still gonna be nice and put a 10 on there. And on top of that, you also get to add your Constitution bonus to that. So the Constitution was 17 plus 3. So that means my hit points go up to 13. So this is going to be obviously a fighter again, and he'll probably be a frontline warrior, and that's perfectly what we want. So what next? Now, don't let all this extra stuff on the character sheet confuse you or make it seem like don't let it scare you off, especially if you're a new player or that you're new to RPGs. These are all look at it this way. You'll Most of the stuff we won't need, like we don't need to fill in race abilities for because it's a human. He's a fighter. He's not gonna have a wizard, so it's not gonna be spells and all that good stuff or bonuses. There's possessions involved, and I'll show you a quick way to do that. It's not very hard, and of course a lot of people use encumbrance rules. I don't because it's just it bogs the game down. I don't want to deal with that basically. Sorry. So Like I said, it's pretty simple. I know it may look a little complicated and daunting for new players, but it's it's pretty simple. Of course, you got your height, sex, hair, weight, age, eyes. All right, so that's one good thing. We need to find out if we're going to have a male or female character or other. So what I like to do is I have a special set of dice from Azoki, and I have the 30-sided die. That's pretty fun to deal with. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a D3. It's a special six-sided dice, and it only goes up to three. So you see that it's one, two, three. So, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll. What I like to do is one for female, two for male, three for other, whatever that happens to be. I don't really care. It's just for the game. And like I said, that doesn't matter. It's just for it's a three. It's gonna be another. So we'll put other. We'll just leave that blank. So no worries about that. And for hair age, we'll say he's 32. And weight, he's a good strong guy, so we'll say about 180. 6 feet, yeah, we'll say 6 feet tall. There we go. Hair, I guess in my mind, when I think fighter, I think like blonde-ish, kind of Conan style, so I'll go with blonde on that. Eyes, dark brown, because I got dark brown eyes. All right, so description, personality, background, we'll get to that later. All right, so let's go back up here. Believe it or not, we're almost done with our character. It's not that much more to do here to actually play the game. We got pretty much everything we need already, except for a few things, and that's like the weapons and what we're gonna use for the fight. All right, sorry. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Chuck, what's going on, man? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's figure out our armor. And like I said, armor starts at 10, and you add your bonus for your armor, shield, any kind of mod that you may have on there, and magic and miscellaneous. So let's see. All right, so let's go into the player's handbook again. Scroll back down to full display. And I do recommend if you purchase the books, I get them straight from Troll Lord Games and opt for the digital and print copy. That way you can get the PDFs as well because they're handy to have. I actually have the books right here in front of me as well because I'm ADD and like to have both. Yeah, that's me, but it's just convenient. You can pop them on your Kindle, you can look in your e-reader, iPhone, whatever have you. It's just convenient to have. You can kind of browse it while you're, on your phone or waiting for the bus or whatever. All right, so what are we doing? See, I'm back to the actual page. Level. All right, so let me go back. I already forgot what I was going to do. Okay, armor. So I like to go to armor. We go to equipment. All right, let's go close the spells. We don't need spells. Combat. I think it's up here actually. Ba, 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 expert weapons. Encumbrance. I don't deal with encumbrance. I just don't like it because I don't. Starting coin. This is probably important as well. So according to this, I have a fighter. So the way you read this is a fighter ranger usually starts between 30 and 240 gold pieces. And what you do, you roll a 3d8 times 10. So let me get my dice roller up again. So close all these. D8 times 10. So 160 is good. Let's see. Let's go one more time. Okay, so he's got 160 gold to start with. So I'll go and bring my little notepad back up. 160 gold pieces. And before I write this on the character sheet, I like to keep it on a notepad or like a little scribble on the side or something, and helps you keep up. Are you going to convert that to CNC? Um, you mean the Dice app? It's just on Google. Oh, Sartmarsh. Believe it or not, I'm actually using like I'm actually I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I'm actually running Saltmarsh and I'm doing a like a mix of CNC rules with 5e, and I'm like literally just playing with my players at this point because I'm like I roll for initiative, roll for I mean of course we all roll for initiative, but roll for investigation, roll for yeah I like and because I've been doing is like okay, they're like should I roll for this like oh yeah go for it roll for it if you want to like I don't care about all that that's what 5e is great it's fun it's fun to play but it just I as as a game as a DM for Dungeons and Dragons it's I don't like all the rolling I'm more about story getting your friends together getting some pizza getting a beer just chilling around the table that's my game but everyone's different. But all right, so we got the 160 gold pieces. So I'll move this back over this side. Move that out of the way. Oh, oh yes. You ready to run some games for TLG? I would do it. I'm not sure if I get really nervous around people. Hopefully, yes, I'm homebrewing the checks and movement out. I hopefully this time next year I'll have a cook ass for you. Roll set on TGFG. Yeah. Um. Yeah. They Uh, I'm actually getting better at Fantasy Grounds. It's starting to make sense to me now. I haven't figured out every little nook and cranny on there, but I'm getting there. So yeah. All right, back to the character sheet. Going so easy. Say we have 160 gold pieces. So that's what we're gonna start with. And next thing you know, it's gonna be the armor. Let's go back to the armor. I got distracted with the starting gold. Yeah, exactly. It's actually pretty fun. It speeds everything up. I still trip up when it comes to setting up the combat tracker and setting the tokens and stuff, but it's coming. All right, so equipment. All right, so my fighter needs to be protected. So what do we need to protect our fighter? We don't need weapons just yet. These are helms. So all right, so this is where your notepad comes in, and let's see what we got here. We need a something to protect his head, obviously. So we're gonna go with he's got pretty decent amount of money on him, so we're gonna go with something nice. And we're gonna go with an armet. So that's 10 gold pieces. So we'll put armet into the armet, and we'll make a note on there. +6 AC. Now the reason we don't add that to the AC that's because that only protects his head. So if he gets a blow to the head, you add a +6 to his AC. I actually didn't realize that, and when I first started doing this, I would add that to it. So I would have like a 20 AC, and I didn't realize that's why you did that. But live and learn. All right, let's go back to the player's handbook. All right, so now we want some decent armor for this guy. And one thing, you know what? Well, I'll show you that in a second. I want to show you that. Let's see, pull it up quick. So it's gonna be fighter. This is why I like having the book and the PDF ready. And sometimes I wouldn't have two copies of the player's handbook ready just for this purpose because I like to flip back and forth and have things ready. Okay, according to the classes, it says that the prime attribute is strength, alignment's any, weapons are any, armor any. So I get to have any armor I want on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick something decent. I'm gonna go with the standard. We got 160 pieces. Oh wait, I forgot to put the armor. Armor was 10 gold pieces, so take 10 gold pieces off, minus 10. So armor. Let's keep notes there. So we're down to 150. All right. I'm getting a note here. Okay. All right. So then the next thing here up is I'm gonna go with just straight regular leather armor. You know what? I'm gonna go up a little bit. I'm gonna use ring mail. So it's this 30 gold pieces minus 30 gold pieces. We're down to 120, and I'll go ahead and put ring mail and plus 3. You see that right there? Just plug that in. Armor's plus 3. Armor worn. What's it called again? Ring mail. Okay, so should we get the guy's shield? Yes, we do want a shield. You know what? Before I add the shield, let me see something. I want to see what kind of, in my picture, I'm thinking a fighter. I want somebody with a long sword. Long sword tends to be my favorite, so I'll probably go with a long sword and a two-handed long sword. So it's a decent. So let me show you how this works. For those that aren't familiar, so you have your weapon, you have the cost, the damage that you use, then the range. If it's a ranged weapon like a bow and arrow, whatever, you have your weight and of course your encumbrance. I don't bother with that once again. So you have your two-handed sword. That's 30 GP. So we'll go ahead and plug that into the thing. And minus 30, we're down to 90 gold pieces, and we have a two-handed sword. I'm going to pop that into weapons. All right. Now, because he is a level 1 character, he does not have a BTH yet. So let's see. Let me double check that. Oh, actually, he does. I apologize. He does have a +1 bonus to hit. So let's going to plug that in as well. +1. And just damage for the two-handed sword is going to be 2d6. So what that means is you roll 2d6, and whatever you get from that, that's how many hit points you've taken away from the person you're fighting or whatever have you. All right, so we go +1, and the total is how many characters am I making? Right now I'm just doing one, just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of had the idea to make a video while I was doing this. I'm actually going to make about 3 or 4. I already have an archer ready, and I have a cleric, I believe, and I want to have about 2 or 3 more add to that. And I I like having pre-gens ready. I don't like my characters to use them because I want them to be able to I want to show them how easy it is to create a character. I know this is taking me what I'm going on 30 minutes now, but I can usually create a character. 'Cause like I said, what I do is I will simply race, class, attributes, modifiers, level, quick armor, throw a shield on there, two-handed sword, or throw some spells on there. And if it's a fighter or something like that, I usually create in about 15 minutes. If it's they have spells or there's like a paladin or something, I might take it I might take about 20 to 30 minutes, and sometimes I've taken up to an hour to make a character, but it's usually because I get distracted easily. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna fill this part in right here. This is basically hit points by level, includes Constitution bonus. So what we do here is 13. And then what you would do for when you get to second level, you would roll the die, the D10. So I guess you'd roll D10, roll the 9. So that would be 9. 9 plus 3, that's 12 plus 13. That would make 20. Can't even math right now. 12, so this is 20, 25. So that would be 25. Now I like to just, like I said, I like to max out. So that would be 26, and then that would be 39, and you get the idea. Play the game like how you like it. Like I said, you play it your way, I'll play my way, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle. Okay, so we got that. We got a two-handed sword. Let me get, because he's got a two-handed sword, he's probably not going to have a shield, but I'm also going to keep, I like to also have a dagger, because my fighters usually I usually just throw a dagger in there. And it's 2 GP, so let's go and take that out of there. We'll take 2 GP. So we're down to 88 GP. All right, so that's 1d4, 20 feet. So Now, why does a dagger have a range on it? Well, it's pretty simple actually. To add that on there as well. Because you can take a dagger and you can throw it. Yes, that's why I like to have it. It's like extra. So it's 20 foot and it's 1d4. So we're gonna put 1d4 into damage. All right, so total. Uh, I never knew what to put in there. Damage total. I just kind of leave that there. Leave it blank. I kind of it has what I need. So let's see. And it has a 20-foot range. So I put 20-foot range. Pretty simple. All right, so let's see what else here. Any notes? No, 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 no. All right, so, all right, what else do we need? I think we got everything we need. All right, class abilities. So what we got to do is go back to our class, because one thing I didn't do earlier, I apologize for that. Choose a class. Choose a race, we have that done already. Alignment, don't worry about it. Like I said, I just picked some random. It's not, I don't think it's very important. So, fighter. Now you notice, like I said before, this tells you fighter, the prime attribute. So the way this works is, depending on your class determines your first prime attribute. You get to choose a second one. And if you pick a human, you get to pick the third one. So it's kind of locked in. So you have to pick strength as your prime attribute if you're going to be a fighter. All right, so these are your abilities. You have weapons specialization. At first level, the fighter can choose one weapon to specialize. All weapons are eligible, including ranged weapons such as the bow or sling. The weapon with which the fighter specializes in is usually common to the fighter's cultural side, but it need not be. The castle keeper and players should consult to determine which weapons are available for specialization, bearing in mind culture. What if you're half human? Oh, Chuck, Chuck. um, you know what? I I can give you an answer, but it won't be the same as your castle keeper. So what I like to do, if you're half human, you fall under. I consider you falling under demi-human, so you would only get two attributes. So got those got those wrenches in there. All right, so fighter can choose one weapon and +1. So we see there's a bonus right there we get to add on there. All right, so you get the +1 and a +1 bonus to damage when being used. So what does that mean? Also 7th level, you get to +2 and a +2 to. So let's go ahead and change that two-handed sword because I want to specialize. Class specialization. Specialization. Yeah, I spelled that right. Mod. We'll add a +1 to that and a +1 to damage. So the way that works is, so you get a bonus to hit as 1, you get a mod as 1, 2d6 +1. All right, so got that out of the way, and let's see what else we have. So right now we have weapon specialization. I'll go and write that in class specialization. Okay. That's what this is. That's what these are for. Specialization. All right. So that's your class one, your class abilities at first level. So the next one would be combat dominance, but that's only comes at fourth level, so I wouldn't write that in just yet. And you have an extra attack at 10th level, which you get to move an extra attack per round. And there's our table. Like I said, strength, your prime attribute, you can't change that. You can choose any alignment. Your hit dice is D10, so you roll that. That's how many hit points you have. You can choose any weapons, any armor. Your abilities are weapon specialization, combat dominance, and extra attack, but you only get those after the 4th and 7th level. All right, so let's go back here. We got that out of the way. Dagger, dagger. All right, let's do we need? All right, so now let's go back here. So now that we know he's not going to have a shield, so we're going to go ahead and add the +3 here to your AC. So his AC goes up to 13. All right, and we hit points 13. So he's a pretty strong guy. And what shall we name this character? I don't know. I leave it blank. You know why? Because I don't, it's like I said, I don't, I like to have the pregens ready. I don't like using them, but you can name it whatever you want. Um, we'll just go with Dewey, little n, little n. Yeah, that works. All right, and finally, we have everything we need to play. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Now, if you're planning to do a one shot, that's probably all you need. You might want to throw a, I don't know, a healing potion, one healing potion. These are your CK will get this to you or whatever have you. Now, if you're going to run a longer campaign and you need to have like get ready to go on an adventure or, or a very long journey, you have to let's see how many gold pieces do we have left. Oh, we're down to 88. So I'm gonna update that. Now, it used to be you would have to go to equipment, starting coin, and then you would go and pick what you needed. Encumbrance, I don't deal with it. Once again, there's your spells, equipment. There's all the equipment listed in the player's handbook. There's more to choose from. I believe the Castle Keeper's Guide has more equipment stuff to choose. Let me double check that. Uh, I really need to sit down and read the Castle Keeper's Guide some more. It's a lot of good stuff in there, especially chapter 15. If anything, read chapter 15. It's probably the best thing you can use to know what the game's about. It's a lot of good information there, but no need to worry about that. Okay. Troll Lord Games came out with what's called, let's see, I've got to go to bed, my friend. Thanks for the stream. All right. Take care, Chuck. All right. So the last thing we need is, like I said, if you're planning to run a long game, and this is more, this isn't just a one shot. So here's what you do. Troll Lord Games released what's called one of my favorite supplements. It's the Adventures Backpack. They have all the, they have what's called these backpacks. You choose your class and you go and it has a listing for everything you need and it's already ready for you. So I'm going to show this to you real quick. Expert backpacks, the fighter knight. Let's go here. Backpack. All right, Overland Basic. Get that if you want to choose that one. All right. And of course, you have a lot of equipment, a lot more equipment tables and more stuff to add on if you want to have that. So what I'm looking for is the, where's it at? The fighter's backpack. And there it is. Cleric, Divine, Fighter, Knight backpack. And so what you do is, there, it's already ready for you. It has everything you want to add. It has the summer bedroll, your 2 torches, rope, bandages, small steel mirror, adventure supplies. And that's what I love about this. It's all already set for you. It has the encumbrance rating if you want that. It has the weight if you want to add that into your game, and it already has the cost. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to write all this in there for you. All you have to do is take this and write it in there. But let's see. So basically, what you can do is copy. This is another reason why I like buying from Trollers directly. Their PDFs are DRM free, and they let you do that. You can do this. But of course, I'm using W Acrobat Pro, so keep that in mind. You can't do this with the regular Adobe. Copy, paste. Oh, okay. Copy. Oh, and this really saves a lot of time. I love the Adventures Backpack. It's literally my favorite. It really is my favorite supplement. And all right, so let's get that on there. So you get the idea. You just go and copy those in there. Water scans, space, and then 4 sets of bandages. Like I said, you'll need Adobe Acrobat Pro to edit that, but you get the idea. It's not much difficult, especially if you just have the regular Adobe Reader. And then there's scroll on. You got a razor. You got to keep clean or nice and trimmed, whatever. Alright. Soap bar, half a pound. Sound kit. Alright, small steel flask. And like I said, that's why I love it. It makes it fast, simple. So I got fishing gear. And for you newbies out there, you don't need to do all this. This is just extra stuff for you. And um, down there as well. Found metal. And I've for your longer games, this is very handy, especially if you plan to play over 3, 4, or even longer sessions. I know um, Steve has mentioned he's had a game running for decades, so that's pretty interesting. For at least 15 or 20 years or something. I don't know. Calls it his big game, so very interesting. I can only imagine the story and the story weaving involved in that one. All right, so let's go ahead. We're almost done here. We're at 47 minutes. I'm a little longer than expected. And like I said, once you get the hang of this, it you can usually do this in about 15 minutes at first, especially for fighters. And if you don't deal with all the possessions and everything, but I just want to get it out of the way, kind of give you an idea how it works. That in there as well. And and one more last thing. Let's go and close that. All right, so we got everything in there. It was 50 gold pieces. So what do? We go update the gold that we have in our inventory. So that's down to 38. All right, and as you can tell, that's pretty much it. You can start writing out your description, your personality, lovable, goofball, or whatever you want to add on there. Just you know, think what your character think when you think of your character, think about what you want. Of course, just your encumbrance rules. I don't deal with it. You can if you want to. There's plenty of information on that. Um, this is where your spells, if you have like spells, your magic, potions, scrolls, whatever, your magic items, treasure. Say you found a treasure chest, you'd add it in there, and you keep track of your bolts, your all that good stuff. How many arrows, whatever have you. Uh, let's see what else we need. If you have a holy symbol, damage. That's where you keep track of your how much damage you've taken and whatever have you. Now the intelligence. Now usually what I do is languages is common is for the human, and the general rule of thumb is intelligence. You take your intelligence modifier, so if you know one language or your class has two, you add one on top of that. So usually what I'll do is make common and then I'll add Orcish or Elvish would probably be a good one. So I add Elvish on there because I got a +1. Now if it was a +3, I'd add 3 extra languages. And that's pretty much it. We're done. That's and I've created a character. It took me about 49 minutes, but distracted. Looks pretty fleshed out. Feel free to play around with this, add your description, what they may look like, whatever their personality, background. You can add an animal companion or a familiar. Get the book of familiar. It's a very good another good supplement. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll call it a night on that one. I'll be posting this to YouTube and I'll be sharing it with the group on the Castles and Crusades Facebook page. And I think we're done. Have a good night.